Hello everyone, and welcome to my next video for Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. And in this video I am going to be taking on the Act 3, Chapter 5, Part 2, LUFENIA Plus Quest, The Furthest Edge, Part 2. And in this one we're going in with a little bit of a different team. I am bringing out Tidus for the first time in fucking forever. And we're going to try and deny the boss the ability to do pretty much anything. So this is Fran's LD debut, and I have decided, you know, to pull for Fran's weapon. And as you can see, I definitely have her in the outfit, because as much as I'm not normally a fan of the overly sexualized designs in some of these games, I'm going to make an exception for the Viera because Fran looks amazing. It has to be said. That being said, I'm bringing her in my main team lineup here because I want 10 levels of her. Right, so people who've played with Fran before know how she works, right? She inflicts a stacking unique debuff on the enemy. Previously it only went up to 5 stacks, and at 5 stacks it gives a ranged imperil, as well as a bunch of other debuffs. Well, her LD lets it go up to 10 stacks instead, and at 10 stacks with her on your team it's an absolute menace. It's something like minus 40% defense, plus 30% HP damage, plus 30% brave damage taken, fucking ranged imperil on top of that, and like a speed penalty, and like a whole bunch of other stuff. So it's kind of like halfway between Jack and Kurosame on the same debuff. You know, it's insanely powerful. Unfortunately, if you bring her as a cold ability, you only get 10% HP and bravery damage. You do get the ranged imperil, and you do get a defense penalty, but it is much more powerful if you have her on your actual team when you use it. However, just because she has to be on your team when she uses it doesn't mean she has to be in your team for the rest of the fight, and that's where COD Friend comes in. So I'm going to be dropping a debuff on Fran, dropping Jack, pretty much subbing out Fran almost immediately, and going to town with COD and with Tidus and Selphie. So the reason I am using Tidus here is because the boss's LUFENIA Orb condition, it has 2 conditions. The first one is that it needs to take a turn when it has like a stacking debuff on it. I don't know if it's like 3 or 5 or higher or something like that, but that means letting the enemy take a turn, and we don't want to do that. We want to deny it. We want to completely shut it down. The other option is to inflict ranged weakness damage on the enemy, and of course, even though Tidus's kit is mostly melee, unlike his father, his EX is actually a ranged attack. So you basically see where this is going. So without further ado, let's dive into it. Kurosame and Fran together with Jack and fucking Iraha. I can't wait to see the disgusting levels of damage that Tidus's burst finisher is going to do. It might not be like as much as it can be because we won't have too many burst effects going on, but I absolutely want to see what we can do here to these guys. Alright, so first things first, let's get up the Jack. The only thing that will shut down a team like this is if the enemy cleanses a lot, so I'm just going to hope that they don't do that, you know. So let's go in here and let's put on our LD. There we go. So I think it's a 6 stacks now, so we do have the ranged weakness on there. Let's put on Kurosame. Kind of turn rate will we have here? Yeah, okay, that's fine. I can do that. So we still need to get those debuffs nicely stacked. I probably should have used a wall there on Selphie, but never mind. There we go, starting to stack up damage a bit. Alright, so now it's honestly very tempting to just to use another one of Fran's skills here, but unfortunately she cannot get turn rate at this point, so I think I am just going to whip out COD here and bring out her burst. Or its burst, I should say. Right, so we have a nice double turn with Tidus here because if his turn rate is just being stupid as usual. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to whip out the Kurosame LD on Tidus, which is going to give COD the enchant that we need for it to do extremely high levels of damage during the actual burst sequence. And then Selphie is going to, of course, refresh Rapture and also get up Iroha's call ability, so we do even more damage during the burst phase. And I am really looking forward to that burst finisher on Tidus. And then we're just going to see how silly it gets. So hopefully Tidus gets turn rate after Selphie here, which he does. That is absolute perfection. There we go, you see we're already starting to stack up the damage. Look at that, 151k per target, and we don't even have like Tidus's burst active yet. This is gonna get so disgusting. I'm so here for this nonsense. Let's stack up all of the effects. Wow, I'm not entirely sure why the orb is going up on this enemy. I'm really not sure. Maybe it's because it's going past the HP threshold and it's got the stacking debuff on it, which honestly makes this entire thing even sillier than it already was in the first place, because it means like we really don't need to worry about the orb like at all. So let's go in with another Rapture. And then it's burst time for Tidus. Alright, so I'm going to EX first for the buffs. I just think we kind of need them. Alright, let's see just how disgusting this can get. There's something so comforting and nostalgic about this BGM. Like, I don't know what it is, but like the PS2 FF10 regular battle theme, I just don't get tired of listening to it. So it's looking like this is going to be another one of those pretty straightforward LUFENIAs. And you can see the amount of work Fran is putting in by not being here is quite high, which I do find kind of funny. Yeah, I think Tidus' like shoot follow-ups are range damage as well, which just makes this entire thing even more silly. Alright then, let's see how much damage this does. Go on, Tidus, let's see what you've got. Not quite as high as I hoped for. Enemy has got really tanky for some reason. Still 6.7 million damage, burst phase. Pretty good for a character who doesn't have a burst plus. It must be said. Oh, did I accidentally like that was a free turn from COD, right? Oh no, it wasn't. I accidentally wasted one of COD's turns here. Oh well, never mind. Never mind. These things happen. Well, there's nothing else for it but just to go into summon and get even more meme-worthy numbers. So I'll just try and like use up all of the COD turns that I possibly can while it's on the field.
Ready, go!
Oh god, that is highly disgusting levels of damage. Honestly, some of these, like the late blue burst characters like Tidus and Yuna, are still very viable in LUFENIA Plus with the right team setups, and that is very lovely to see. I do like to see that. And one thing that makes this whole thing even better is that because Tidus' burst is active, the frequency of the eject shots is going to unbreak the enemies, so COD is just going to stick around forever. Unfortunately, we have lost the Imperil from Kurasame, but I mean, like, you know, we don't need it. Look at this nonsense. Yeah, let's go. Oh, the Raptor's worn off though. Well, that kind of sucks. Let's do a quick hit over here. And one over here. Because we want to line the eject shot up with the launch. Excellent.
Ready, go!
And now it's pretty much just a straight line to the finish. So we're not doing as much damage as we could be doing because we've lost the Imperils. We've got all that nonsense going on, but pretty straightforward. Probably should pretty much just spam quick hits until it's finished now at this point. Like, we're doing so little bravery damage, but we're doing so much HP damage, because, like, we have a baseline bonus of, like, 60% HP bonus damage before anything else. Because it's, like, 30% from Fran's debuff, and then, like, 30% from... well, it's 25% from Kurasame, so 55%, because it's only at 4 stacks. But then you've got, like, all the characters' bonus damage on top of it. Man, I remember when this game was, like... you could really keep track of the percentages of like all the different buffs that the characters had on. You know what I mean? Like you knew what auras characters had, and you knew like what was. Oh my! Everything's ran out. I forgot to use the LD. Never mind. But like you could keep track of everything, right? Whereas now, like the abilities are like so insane. And like all the overlapping buffs and debuffs and like all the other shenanigans and everything else that the characters have is like so high that like there's almost no way to just keep full track of everything. You're just like, oh, this is good, you know, this is like a big number, or like this debuff is going to do this mechanic for this fight, but like there's no way to keep track of like all of the bonuses and penalties and buffs and debuffs and like everything else. It's insane. You're just not going to do it. unless you're really meticulous. But you kind of don't need to, because, like, look, there we go, it's over already, you know, we're so overpowered at this point. But there we go, it's another very straightforward LUFENIA. Kind of fun to whip out Tidus for the first time in a long while. Yeah, Noctis is maybe going to be pretty fun with Fran's debuff. We'll see if we can't pull off some shenanigans there. Don't know if there's any more powerful ranged attackers coming up, like, in the immediate future. I know there's like Machina, but he's melee, right? And Snow, who's melee, Ramza, melee, Zack, melee, and a bit of magic. So yeah, we don't have too many ranged like burst characters, I think. Not for a while anyway. But that is going to be my clear of this LUFENIA. I hope you guys all enjoyed. I hope you all had a very, very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays and all the rest of it. And yeah, here's hoping that 2022 is not as much of a dumpster fire as the last 2 years have been, because I don't know about you, but I'm getting pretty tired of what's going on right now. So, hoping for the best, preparing for the worst, you know how it is. Take care everyone, and until the next time, take care and goodbye.